There we go, we're on. Good. Good night, everybody, and welcome once again to another Lime Vibe Live podcast. This is your host, Yori Araman Kemp, here from the beautiful country of Nassau, Bahamas. The beautiful country of Nassau, of the Bahamas, that's apparently ducking Hurricane Beryl. We want to pray for the people in Grenada and Jamaica and the Caymans and St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have experienced Hurricane Beryl. So we want to be with them in their time when they need help. So if you're new here to the show, please go ahead and click like and subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch page. That's Lime Vibe 77. That's Lime Vibe 77 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And so we're glad to have you on board for this episode, Lime Vibe, on Friday nights. We're here every Friday nights. And thank you for joining us. We were here last week Friday, but here's what happened. We had a technical issue where we recorded and the sound didn't come out. All right, so we've been dealing with the new equipment here for quite some time now. I think we've got it beat now, so we're only on YouTube still because we still haven't built up enough followers on Facebook. We had followers, but then a few of them dropped off, and so we need more followers on Facebook. So as we try to build up, please bear with us. So thank you for joining me here for another Friday night on Lime Vibe Live. Let's get straight into the show. The first thing is that we spoke about this last week when the sound was off, but it bears mentioning again that Kenyan troops are now in Haiti, about 400 of them, and the other 600 are supposed to arrive any day now. But here's the thing, while they've sent troops to Haiti, and they promised, Kenya itself is going through a lot of armed unrest. Their parliament has been sieged last week. Apparently protesters took to the streets and took over the parliament over a controversial financial bill that was put in place by Kenyan President William Ruto. And they've been saying that the government is corrupt and they want a new government. So while Kenya is trying to help Haiti form a new government, Kenya's government itself is on the brink of collapse. So that leads to another question, that leads to other issues like how sustainable is this help from Africa, from Kenya, going to be for Haiti? Now I know some other countries are supposed to join in this coalition. Some troops are supposed to come from the Bahamas. They're supposed to come from Jamaica. They're also supposed to come from Antigua and Barbuda. All right? But if the Kenyan troops pull out, who are putting in the lion's share of the troops, they're supposed to be putting in 1,000 troops altogether. How sustainable is it for the rest of the Caribbean countries who've been sucked into this pledge? I wouldn't advise any Caribbean country to go it alone in Haiti. Don't send not one soldier to help Haiti, unless the Americans or the Canadians or the French are there. If Kenyans can't really sustain this, if they're going through problems right now, then my goodness, why should we waste our energy and our lives and our beautiful men and women, our servicemen and women, to help a country that's in dire straits like Haiti when we can barely help ourselves? You know, Kenya's the one who stepped up, and they even had problems before they had the Parliament storm, because apparently that's Supreme Court blocked a ruling. Blocked a decision by William Ruto to send troops altogether. The Kenyan Supreme Court said there's nothing wrong with sending troops to Haiti, but you have to do it the legal way. Apparently, William Ruto wanted to go overboard and wanted to send his troops without going through the proper bureaucratic channels. And that hit a snag inside the Kenyan Supreme Court. So now, we're here now. So maybe this mission was doomed to start. And of course, doomed from the start. But of course, William Ruto also wanted $55 million to send his troops there. So this may just be a money grab on the Kenyans' part. Who knows? But, you know, in the meanwhile, Haiti is still burning. The gangs are still in the streets. And there's another gang, the Mawuzo 400. The 400 Mawuzo, that's the name of the gang. It's a new Haitian gang. Not really a new Haitian gang, but a Haitian gang that's really the biggest Haitian gang inside Haiti right now. The Mawuzo 400. And they, along with, what's his name? Jimmy Cherizier. The barbecue. Yes. The 400 Mawozo. Yes. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's called the 400 Lame Men. They're the largest gang in Haiti right now. So them, along with Jimmy Cherizier, barbecue, they have the country held hostage still. So while the Kenyan troops make its way to Haiti from Kenya, Haiti is still burning and still under control of a lot of gangs. And so we're waiting now the other troops from the other Caribbean countries now to leave and join the Kenyan troops inside Haiti. So we only have to pray that this goes successfully. Gary Conille is now the Prime Minister of Haiti, and he's responsible for leading this transition to a presidential election, hopefully a new president and a new government in Haiti. So we have to be with Haiti at this time as they try their best to get themselves together with the help of the Kenyans and the other coalition forces from the Caribbean. So I just want to drop that in there, that this Kenyan-led force may be as sustainable as we thought it would be. I mean, the protesters stormed the Kenyan parliament. That's bigger than Donald Trump and the January 6th massacre. It wasn't really a massacre, it was really a large protest when they stormed the federal buildings and the Capitol in Washington, D.C. in the United States because they protested the elections. So that's how serious that is. Anyway, now let's go to another story. I don't know if you've been following this Taylor Casey case, this missing American tourist in the Bahamas. She was last seen at a place called Yoga Retreat, okay? And she's been missing since June 19th. And police are still furiously looking for this Taylor Casey woman. Her parents are all over the Chicago media. They're crying and they're begging for Taylor Casey to be found and returned. But on top of that, you know, there's been no trace of her. But in addition to that, though, there's another missing person that was supposedly missing at the same yoga retreat, but this one went back as far as 2013. This guy was missing. Let me get his name for you. Just on the missing persons bulletin. Yes, his name was Mr. Wesley Bell. He went missing. He went missing on January 25th, 2013. He went missing from the yoga retreat. Never been seen again. So, you know, apparently the Bahamas is getting a reputation for making people go missing. You know, people just mysteriously dying in this country. It's becoming a bit of a notorious scheme now, and it's becoming noticeable. You know, and we have to do something about it. Now, the police have set up drones around the area of the yoga retreat, but we'll have to see. And then the latest with Taylor Casey was that she was not abducted from the yoga retreat. Ah ha ha! So she went somewhere else after the yoga retreat, but she was last seen at the yoga retreat. So now the investigators are starting to piece together all this thing about Taylor Casey. We just hope she's found in one piece. We just hope that she's in a drug house somewhere and just getting high. But it's been from June 19th she'd be missing. It's now July 5th. All right? No hair, no hide of Taylor Casey. So let's hope she's found safe and sound. Okay? And we have kind of like an old story here too. This is from the AfriXM Bank, and they had their annual meeting here in the Bahamas last month. Apparently, there's $1.8 billion worth of trade that could be materialized between Africa and the Caribbean if the trade mechanisms are put in place. This is said by Vincent Masumba, the AfriXM Bank manager of communications. He said it when he was here in the Bahamas for their annual general meeting. Said $1.8 billion worth of trade between Africa and the Caribbean. Don't you just love it when they start bringing out these big numbers? You know, I personally am not a fan of these Africans. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not a fan of them, you know. Where the hell did they come from? You know? And why should we feel compelled to get cozy with the descendants of the people who sold us? All right? Their people sold us to the white man, you know. They sold us to the Europeans before the slave trade started, you know. We were slaves. We were slaves before we came to this new world. So we must trust them now that they want to do business with us now? Hell no. And our leaders are so gullible, they're so foolish. I've said it a million times. And I don't back down from that at all. You know, we need to stay away from these Africans, man. You know, we have this opinion that we think that they're just swinging from trees, that we live in the West, and we live with the Americans and the Europeans, right? And we have all this savvy. But you want to trust the people who sold us initially to the Europeans? We have this assumption, or this mindset that all these Africans just swing from trees and they live in huts. You know? They are very savvy. Trust me, they're not fools. We need to find out what they're up to. But we're just jumping in head on with these people like we know what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know. Now back to the story that we start off with on the broadcast, talking about Hurricane Beryl. We want to pray for all the people in Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Jamaica and the Caymans, who've been affected by Hurricane Beryl. It came to Jamaica as a Category 5. It left Grenada as a Category 5, but it entered Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a Category 4 and strengthened on its way to Jamaica, and is leaving Jamaica and the Caymans as a Category 2. So it came in weak, it got stronger, then it got weak again after it hit land. And now it's on its way to Mexico. And apparently it's left 7 people dead in Jamaica right now. We just want to pray for those people in Jamaica. And there's a lot of damage in Jamaica right now. And 7 people have died already. So we just want to be with the people of Jamaica land. We're holding this to Prime Minister. We give you our best. And if anything that the CARICOM community can do, they will do it. There's some other islands too. Grenada, the island of Petit, Martinique, and Carriacou. Carriacou in particular has been flattened. So Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell of Grenada had said, you know. And we've been there before. The Bahamas have been there with Hurricane Dorian. And Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica has been there with Hurricane Maria and Hurricane Irma. So we know exactly how you feel dealing with this devastation. So we just want to make sure that you have our thoughts and our prayers. And once CARICOM decides what they're going to do, trust me, it's going to be best for everybody. And so we just want to continue our prayers for you right now as you deal with Hurricane Beryl. Okay, so now we get to our last story. I don't know if you guys have been following the U.S. presidential debate, but, you know, President Biden, he's not fit for office, man. He's not fit. He is not fit for office. He is suffering from early onset dementia. You could see it in the man. You can see it on him. He is suffering from dementia. He's gone. And I'll play a clip from you, some of the best bits from the CNN debate between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump as he lead to the presidential elections. Both of them are old as dirt, by the way. But Donald Trump clearly looks more competent and capable. And this is from the CNN debate. This is the debate that President Joe Biden set up. He made sure everything was to his liking, to his specification. He still couldn't deliver. I mean, it's sad to see him take advantage of Joe Biden like this. He's clearly he's in dementia. Clearly he's in dementia. He's not fit to be president right now, let alone run for another election, for another term. He's not fit right now. But they're still leading him out there like a lamb to the slaughter. This is absolutely insane, man. I'll let you listen to listen to the debate. One of the best clips from it. Watch, go Harry, right here. This is the debate 2 weeks ago, the CNN presidential debate between Donald Trump and President Joe Biden.
President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent.
Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them.
We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out, and now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible.
Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted?
That's just the first part of it, man. I'll let you listen to the rest of it. But you see Biden stumbling all through that. It's an absolute shame, man. Biden cannot even stand up on the podium. And he's now on a campaign blitz now. He's on a media blitz saying that one bad debate should not, wipe away his previous 3 years of his leadership. But people have been saying this about Biden for the past 3 years too, that he's losing it, that he's gone, he's out of it. Let's go back and watch the rest of it.
That you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And
look at Biden's face. Look at Biden's face.
Nancy Pelosi said it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, No indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Well, let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepted anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time. The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who was convicted, deserves to be convicted.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do, all he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. This was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine, never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas, number one. They're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept.
Israel's...
You know, Trump made a good point just then that the whole world is on fire under Joe Biden. It's true. We have the war in Ukraine. We have the war in Israel. We still have the war going on in Yemen. We have Haiti on the brink of, well, Haiti collapsed, right? And so all these things going on all over the place, all this discontent under Joe Biden. This wasn't happening under President Donald Trump. It wasn't happening. There were no wars. There were no rumors of wars. Let's watch the rest of it.
The one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice, that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did, and I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser. I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous.
He can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, Put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble.
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID. And when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929.
So there you have it, folks. That was the edit from CNN themselves, actually. So if you could understand what Joe Biden was saying as he was mumbling, your guess is as good as mine. What he was saying, don't you see it? He's off. He cannot sit. He can't run for another election, man. He can't go anymore. He's going to be 86 if he wins again at the end of his term. He wouldn't last. He doesn't look like he's fit to run the country right now as it is. It's just a shame, but it's just the truth. You know, if he was a bit younger, yeah, you may give him a chance. But no, man, he clearly he is suffering. Clearly, President Biden is suffering. And, you know, if he doesn't do it, if they don't pull him aside, God's going to pull him aside. All right? That's just how it is. If they don't pull him aside, God's going to pull him aside. And you're going to see really who's in charge in this world. All right? So I showed you the best snippets of, you know, the Biden-Trump debate. And it's worse than what I thought it was being actually. Anyway, let's start back from the top. So we talked about how the Kenyan troops are now in Haiti and they're sending more while Kenya itself is under duress. You know, protesters was taken to the streets and have actually taken over the parliament in Kenya over some controversial financial bills that, you know, President William Ruto tried to push through Parliament, while the people are saying that they are not only controversial, but they are corrupt-laden. They're calling the government in Kenya corrupt. All right? Well, they're pushing down more taxes on the people, and they're protesting. We also talked about this Taylor Casey woman, the Chicago woman that went missing on June 19th here in the Bahamas at the yoga retreat, a very popular tourist destination. The yoga retreat on Paradise Island. And we said there's also the second person that's gone missing from the yoga retreat in the past, 10 years? There was another gentleman called William Bell that went missing back in 2013. He still hasn't been found, still a missing person. All right? So we just pray that, you know, Taylor Casey's found in one piece. But reports also have that Taylor Casey, while she was last seen in the yoga retreat, it's saying that she was not actually abducted from the yoga retreat, that she went somewhere else. And so we just have to pray that Taylor Casey's found, because her parents, her family, they're adamant they're trying to find her. They're really, really in a sad state. They really miss their Taylor Casey. And we just hope that they can find her in one piece. All right? We also talk about this Afri-Exim Bank, how they're saying that there's $1.8 billion worth of trade between Africa and the Caribbean that could materialize if, you know, trade bonds are linked more closely, more tightly. And, you know, here they are talking that slick talk, you know, talking that big money talk. I don't buy it, man. $1.8 billion? Let's get real. Let's get serious here, man. $1.8 billion is a drop in the bucket, man. That's small change, man. That's small money. When you're talking about countries and regions. Let's talk big money, man. You know, and then even so, you know, that don't excite us. What are you up to? What are you up to? You know, you Africans. Apparently Vincent Masumba, the Afri-Exim Bank's manager of communications and events, said that while he was here in the Bahamas for the Afri-Exim Bank annual general meeting, you know, we don't care about none of that, man. Stop talking that foolishness. All right? What are you guys up to? What is your real game? What is your real game? Because I'll tell you the truth, I don't trust the descendants of the people who sold us into slavery. And we also talked about, well, we didn't talk about the actual Venezuelan election, actually. The Venezuelan presidential election is apparently on July 28th, and is less than a month away. And the Edmundo Gonzalez Urrutia, he is surging in the polls against, President Nicolas Maduro, and he's the first serious challenger that Maduro is going to face. And he's, surging in the polls amid, waves of discontent from Venezuelans in Venezuela about Maduro's leadership. Apparently, the country's under sanctions, and a lot of Venezuela's leaders and cabinet ministers, they're under sanctions, they're on the watch list from the United States. And so, Nicolas Maduro has led his country into disaster, but we have to see how the election's going to shape. It may not be a full, free and fair election, and that's what people are really saying right now. Is the July 28th Venezuelan presidential election going to be free and fair? We don't know. We have to wait and see. Then we also talk about Hurricane Beryl, how it, slammed through Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, killing 2 in Grenada apparently, and flattened Carriacou in Grenada. Also left Jamaica just then as a Category 5 hurricane. It came to Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane, but it's leaving as a Category 4 as it makes its way to Mexico. It also swept over the Cayman Islands as well. Apparently 7 people have died in Jamaica as a result of Hurricane Beryl. So we have to pray for those persons who lost their lives, and we just have to be with them. And hopefully, the help will come from CARICOM and the United States and the United Kingdom as they normally do. And Samaritan's Purse is already on the ground. They're the first person to respond ever. The Samaritan's Purse. They're a beautiful organization. They've been here in the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian, and they've been around the region, around these disaster areas. So we just have to ensure that, they continually keep their eyes on these countries, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Jamaica, and the Caymans, who've been hit severely, directly by Hurricane Beryl. So I thank you once again for joining us for the Lion Vibe Live podcast. If you have not done so, please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page, and Twitch page, Lion Vibe 77, Lion Vibe 77 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Please go to the Facebook page and like the Facebook page too, actually. We need more likes on that, okay? And so, we'll hopefully be back on Facebook soon in another month or so. I thank you for joining me again for another Lion Vibe Live podcast. This is your host, Yori Camp from the Bahamas. I'll see you again next week, Friday, for another show. Good night.